Hi, today's video will be my life as a jail officer at the Winnebago County Sheriff Department in Rockford, Illinois. I worked that job in 4/10/85 and I stayed there to 9/10/86. Now, the job was very competitive, very interesting at first. It was my first time to work in corrections, the first time to work with inmates. I'm in charge of inmates. I was just not too much time out of high school. So yeah, I was very excited about that job. Yeah, I remember when I first got the job, I had to take a test first, an agility test. I took a written test, I did 100%. I took physical tests, I did 100%. Everything I took a test for, I passed flying colors, and I got interviewed by the captain of the guard, and he explained to me about how corrections was going to be, and he asked me what shift do I prefer, and I told him I want first shift, which ran from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So 12-hour shifts. We worked every 2 days on and 2 days off. I really did like it, but on some occasions at the job when I first started, I was a little puzzled. I was a lot puzzled, especially when we worked at Max Hall. Max Hall was where all the violent criminals were at in Max Hall, and then we had Calm Hall. Calm Hall was traffic, where you get traffic fines. It was kind of more of a slow pace. And then then there was one more place I worked over there. I worked in the control room. In the control room, they showed me I worked a computer, and I can open any door in the jail with the use of that computer. They showed me that. So I worked it as a jail officer, and then I worked as a gym guard, where I took the guys to gym. Now that one was kind of a little nerve-wracking, because you have all these guys. You got sometimes you got 20 guys, and so you need another officer to go with you, because you don't want that you got 20 guys and you got them behind you, and you have no other help. If they decide that they want to take over you, they can take you and take your keys from you, and ain't no telling what else they can do. But that never happened. But the thought do come across your mind when you by yourself. You always got to think of safety and always think of your life. But it never happened. It never happened. I never got beat down. But I remember we used to go in to some of the cells in Max side, and they have to extract some inmates out of there. Sometimes you had to extract it with force. So you got to put on your riot gear. We had to put the riot gear on, and we had to call control room to open up cell D1. We had to go in there and viciously take this guy out of the cell because he want to get combative. See, so we've done a lot of that, where we have to go in there and take them out. So that will come with a little hands-on. Okay? Sometimes there be some hands-on, and you see it. I remember one time we was working in the day room, whatever. I'm sorry, not day room. I meant to say booking area. Sometimes when they come in the booking area, they already combative to the officer that bring them. So when they bring them into the booking area, that's where you book in, right? Because you just got off the street. So sometimes that guy off the street is combative. So they call us. When we come up there, we have to calm the situation down. And we tell them, if you're not going to be calm, we're going to have to put you in a holding cell. We're going to put you in a holding cell until you calm down. And if that don't work, we're going to put you in isolation until you calm down. So what do you prefer? You want to calm down now, or you want to go to the holding cell, or do you prefer the isolation? Usually that works, but sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you have to physically pick that guy up, and it takes 3 or 4 of us, pick him up, put him in a holding cell. Then if he start banging on the cell, we have to put him in isolation, where they got cameras and everything, and he'll sit there until he calm down, or until we see a nurse. So you go through a lot of things that happen in a jail. A lot of things happen in prisons too. But when I worked this particular jail, Winnebago County, one time we did have an incident, and we was working out there at I was working on comm hall with the nurse. The nurse was passing meds. We went to K Block, and we went to K Block, and another officer was with me. He went inside with the nurse. The other officer went inside with the nurse. I stayed outside and watched the door. Okay, we don't want two officers in there. So next thing I know, they passing out meds, and then next thing I know, there's a fight going on. I looked inside, and I seen that the officer was fighting with a couple inmates. So I got on my radio and I told them to come to comm hall. We have inmates is fighting a officer. We need help fast, immediately. So all the help came, and we took the officer out of there. He only had, I think he got a broken nose like that. And we got the inmate, we put the inmate down, put him in isolation. We did what we had to do. See, sometimes that happened. But then also other times are nice times. I remember I used to take them to the gym. I'm like, it's two of them because I have to have another officer go with me, because you don't want to take 25 guys by yourself. One person cannot handle 25 inmates. So there's always two, one in front, one in behind. I take them to the gym. We stay up for like 45 minutes. They get up there and they stretch out and they play their basketball, or sometimes they just walk. They walk in the perimeter. They have exercise, and you got to take them to exercise. But the main thing when you dealing with inmates is always safety. You never know what they're thinking, or how they're gonna feel when they come out that cell. Okay, so you always got to be aware of your safety. You always got to be aware of their safety. Safety is the number one thing that you always have to maintain at 120%. You always got to make sure the environment is safe. Everybody have to have a safe environment. And when you're working in the jail office, always think of safety. Your safety always comes first. But I remember when they let me work the control room. The control room is where you get a chance to work with the computer, and you're able to unlock all the doors. And they call you on the radio, and they tell you, can you open up Mac's side? So you got to log in, and you got to log in your number so the doors on the Mac's side will open. Okay, and then when they go inside the Sally port, you can bring out the inmate too. But it always, everything is open from that control room. And I learned that one. So when I worked the jail officer, I worked the control room, and I was the gym guard where I take them to gym. But somebody else came with me. I didn't just take them by myself, because something always can go down. And if you by yourself and you got like 25 inmates with you, you always better be prepared for a rainy day, because you never know, like I said, you never know what they're thinking in their mind. They could go off at any time, and if they see a situation to where that they can benefit, especially if they want to do something to you, your good is gone. They can do it to you because you're by yourself. So that's why I say you always got to maintain safety, always be alert, 120%, always be alert. Okay? But it was a very interesting job. At first, I was just fresh up out of high school. It teach me responsibility. I learned a lot of responsibility that I never had thought I could do. Everybody thought that at first I wouldn't be a good jail officer because I was only 135 pounds. I'm only 135 pounds. All the inmates is twice my size. So they thought that I wouldn't accept the job. Okay, I proved them wrong. I accepted it. I accepted the job. Okay, and I did the job to the best of my ability. I only missed like 2 days of work. Okay, I really did enjoy the job. At first, I thought this was going to be the job that I'm going to retire at. Wrong. That did not happen. I'll tell you why it didn't happen. Maybe I already told you already. The incident took place, like I told you in the early part of the video. The incident took place over in K Block. Willie Boyd, not Willie Boyd, but the officer was in there with the nurse passing out meds. But somehow the fight broke out, right? A fight broke out, and officer got his nose broke. I got on the radio and had other help, called it in that we got an incident in K Block. So all the jail officers came. We just solved we took care of the problem. No more incident, but there was an investigation, and they sent me to Chicago. Okay, they sent me to Chicago, and I had to see a shrink. I seen him for a whole day. So many questions, and later on, they did a paperwork on me about like that. And believe me, when it's all done and over, it wasn't good on my part, because I had to talk to the captain, and the captain brought me in his office. I'm sorry, Ray, but we have to talk. And when he first brought me in the office and said sorry, that's the time that I knew right then and there that my job is no more. So he just basically came out and told me. He said, "You remember the incident that we had on Com Hall? You and another officer and a nurse that was passing out meds, and the officer went inside the room with the nurse to watch, make sure she passing out the meds right, and then eventually he was assaulted by a couple inmates. Why you did not put hands on with the inmate?" I said, "I didn't put hands on with the inmate because I was busy. I had to get help. I had to get help for that other officer." Okay? If I would have went in there, both of us would be in danger, right? Somebody had to stay out and maintain the hall. I didn't want no other inmates to come out that room. So I'm maintaining the hall, okay? I didn't want no other inmates to come out. But the captain didn't see it that way. Everything was against me. So they sent me to, a couple days later, they sent me to Chicago. And again, I talked to the shrink the whole day, and later on I found out everything went against me again. The shrink labeled me as paranoid. He said that I am afraid of people. Now, if you're afraid of people, what business do you got working in a jail office? You can't be a jail officer if you're afraid of people. Am I right? So I talked to the captain, and he told me that we got the results back from your visit to Chicago with the shrink, and it's not good, Ray. It's not good. You've been labeled as paranoid, and you're afraid of people. Now, you're going to lose your job now. I'm sorry. But if you apply for unemployment, you'll be able to get your unemployment. But you can no longer be a jail officer. I said, don't you have any other place in the jail? Just keep me in control room where I just work the computer and I never come out. I love working here. No, that's not going to work. All right. So be it. It is what it is. So I'm not going to be a jail officer no more. Yeah, that my job was taken away. My job was taken away. But the time I did as a jail officer, I remember everything. It has its trials, it has its ups, it has its downs, it has its memories. You remember everything. I remember everything about working in Winnebago County. I can still do the job if given the opportunity, but I never go back there again. I never go back to work as a jail officer again. But I did work as a jail officer before. And with that thought, I'm going to end this video. Peace be with you.